Today we're going to talk about photosynthesis. That is going to be our topic of discussion today. We will be taking some notes, so you will be doing some writing. And then your homework is to finish the photosynthesis leaf, which I'll be discussing with you throughout the lesson, and you'll understand what that is once we go through the lesson. But your goal with doing the photosynthesis leaf for your homework is to show your understanding of your notes and how well you interpret your notes and understand your notes. Before we begin this lesson, I'm going to go ahead and show a brain talk about photosynthesis just to get you more familiar. I know a lot of you know what photosynthesis is, but we're going to talk about it in a little bit more detail. So let's go ahead and take a look at the video. Sorry.
Dear Tim and Moby, how do plants grow? From Nance 1277. All living things need nourishment to grow, but plant food is different from people food. Plants make their own food in a process called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis couldn't happen without the sun. Plants collect energy from sunlight and use this energy to make a sugar called glucose. Glucose is the main source of nutrition for plants, fueling their cells for function and growth. I'll show you. It's no secret that plants use their roots to drink up water from the soil. Water travels from the roots to the plant's leaves through a transport tissue called xylem, that's wood in trees. Meanwhile, leaves absorb carbon dioxide from the air through openings called stomata. The water and carbon dioxide spread through the leaves into cells called the palisade and spongy cells. These cells contain structures called chloroplasts, which are filled with a green pigment called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is what makes green plants green. In photosynthesis, chlorophyll traps energy from sunlight, storing it as chemical energy. This process splits water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen atoms. The chemical energy is used to create glucose from the hydrogen and carbon dioxide. The glucose dissolves into extra water molecules and gives the plant plenty of food for growth. The leaves release oxygen as a waste product. That's one reason that plants are so important to us. They absorb our carbon dioxide and leave us with oxygen. We inhale the oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide back into the air. Yeah, I guess you could call it a partnership, except we eat them. Moby, drinking sugar is not going to make you grow. It's just going to make you hyper. Oh boy.
All right, so we're going to get started then with our notes. So please open your notebooks up to page 8. Remember, this is the even side. This is what I give you. These are your notes, so we want to try to make them as colorful as possible, highlighting some things, just making them overall attractive so that you will look at them. There is quite a bit of writing, so we're going to go ahead and get started. At the top of your page 8 for photosynthesis notes, remember we always start off with a little question, a grabber, attention grabber, a catcher to kind of get our minds right on what we're going to be discussing. If you're coloring or doing anything extra right now, I need for you to stop, turn your notebooks to page 8, and let's get ready for our notes. Do a partner check, please, and make sure your partner is on task. Page 8, this is where we're doing our notes. So let's start at the very top with the question. And our question is, which cells use photosynthesis? Go ahead and write that question and answer. No, we're going to put the answer right under here. As soon as you know the answer, write it down, and as soon as you're finished writing the question and the answer, raise your hand. All right, so which cells use photosynthesis? Oh, I know. Plant cells. So a lot of our focus today on today's notes will be on plant cells. All right? The title of these notes are called what? Did you put on your table of contents for today's class? Photosynthesis notes. So let's go ahead and put our title for these notes. Everyone should be writing their title for their notes. Now, I'm going to be adding some animations in my notes. I would like for you to do so that it makes your notes look a little bit more pretty and you have a better understanding of what's going on in your notes. So what is the major drive for photosynthesis? The sun. So off in the corner, I'm going to draw me a little sun. Yes. We're not drawing a big picture. We're not drawing a big picture, but we are going to add some animation throughout our notes to have words and to have some pictures. Yes. So nearly all living things, stay with me because I'm writing it with you, so you should be caught up with me. Nearly all living things obtain energy either directly or indirectly. What does that mean? It's not coming straight to you, but it may, and what is indirect? So if it's not coming straight to you, it may come through something else. Directly means it comes straight to you. So nearly all living things obtain energy either directly or indirectly from what? The sun. How many of you think that's true? When it's a rainy, cold day, what do you want to do on it? Sleep. You just want to be kind of open around. You really don't want to go out. You don't want to do much. You don't have much energy to do much because there's no sun there that drives. So nearly all living things obtain energy either directly or indirectly from the sun, and we're going to add through photosynthesis. Everyone good? I'm not going to change the page, but I am going to keep going. Now, photosynthesis we have to be able to describe that. What is photosynthesis? Okay, that is good. So it is a process, for sure. And a process is something that happens, so it definitely is a process. What uses this process? Plants. Plant what though? Okay, so it's a process by which cells, what is needed in this process? What is one of the major drivers? The sun. So plant cells capture What does it mean to capture? Take it. So hold on to it. So it captures sunlight. And that sunlight, we said, is the what? Is the energy. They capture sunlight, they capture that energy. And do what? They use it to make food. Should we add a word next to cells? Should we add a word next to cells? Because if we read this, it's just saying cells. So you can interpret that to be what? Any cell, but what do we know? Only plant cells. You definitely need to add plant cells. If you have it above it, next to it, whatever, but make sure you know that it's plant cells. So photosynthesis is a process by which plant cells capture the sunlight. It uses the energy so that it can make food. So when the sunlight is captured onto a what? Onto a plant. So this is my interpretation of a plant. Make sure you get that, the sunlight, the plant capturing the sunlight. Plants such as grass. We all know grass is a plant, right? It uses energy from the sun to do what? To make its own food. Now, although it looks like I'm almost at the end of my page, I'm not, which means you shouldn't be. So please do not be writing very, 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 very big. Things that make their own food. This is called an autotroph. That needs to be highlighted because that is the key word. What is an autotroph? Things that make its own food, not just a plant, but anything that makes its own food. Auto means self, like an autobiography, an autograph. It's of the self. So it's a self-making product. You have all of this? What other word up here do you think we should highlight? Photosynthesis, because we provided the definition. All right, I'm going to scroll my page down just some so I can get some more room. Now, the sun or the plant captures energy from the sun. What happens with these plants? Once these plants grow, what happened though? What happened? How do we fit into this process? We eat them. So I'm going to use an animal though because it's easier to draw on here. And this is my rendition of a caterpillar. Caterpillars eat leaves, right? What might eat a caterpillar? A bird, definitely. So this is my rendition of a bird. So the caterpillar eats the leaf. The bird eats the caterpillar. Is the caterpillar directly or indirectly, does the caterpillar, I should say, get its energy directly or indirectly from the sun? Indirectly through the what? The plant, who got its energy indirectly or directly from the sun? Directly. Did the bird get its energy directly or indirectly from the sun? Indirectly, because the bird did what? Who ate the caterpillar, who got its energy directly or indirectly from the sun? Indirectly, who ate the plant, who got its energy directly from the sun. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's then interpret that here. Make sure you're with me. Gets energy how? What did it do? From eating grass, yep. Or from eating plant. Stay with me. And the bird gets energy how? From eating the caterpillar. The caterpillar and bird, can they make their own food? No. Cannot make own food. Therefore, they would be called heterotrophs. What should we do with that word? Highlight it. What is a heterotroph? Anything that cannot make its own food, an organism that can't make its own food. So yeah, not just the animal, but an organism that cannot make its own food. I'll scroll up. All right, so now let's tie this together and talk about photosynthesis a little bit more. So, during photosynthesis, that's what we're talking about. And please remember, if you are running out of paper in your notebook, add a new separate page. Do not turn your notebook to the next page. Bless you. Autotrophs what's an autotroph again? spelled that wrong. Hold on. Let me spell it right. An autotroph is something that can or cannot make its own food. Can. Look at your notes. You highlighted. So an autotroph uses sun's energy. We know that already, correct? To convert what do plants use? What do plants need besides sunlight? Water, carbon dioxide. So plants use water, carbon dioxide, and so you told me that plants use the sun's energy, and they use the sun's energy to convert, and you said because they also use water, but they use it, but it has to convert into something. So they're going to use water and carbon dioxide. I'm going to put this, you don't have to, but who knows the chemical formula for water? H2O. You want your notes to look sophisticated? I would add it. What's the chemical formula for carbon dioxide? CO2, and it looks like this, with a little 2. So during photosynthesis, autotrophs use sun's energy to convert water, carbon dioxide. So autotrophs, being plants, use sunlight, water, carbon dioxide. What are they converting it to? What do they release? What do plants release? So they convert what they use, what they bring in, they release it because that's their waste. So they convert it into oxygen, which is O2. Anyone else know what else they convert it to? What's that other thing that gives cells energy? And it was one of your bonus questions on your quiz. But the energy was the actual word, but it says this is used to give cells energy. What gives you energy? When do you start getting all crazy? Sugar. So they convert it into oxygen and sugar. The sugar is actually glucose. And this is why, this is the natural, good way to get your energy. When you eat plants and vegetables, you get energy because it has converted what it used into sugar. This is the waste. Plants release oxygen, that's their waste. They don't need that, but you do. Plants release sugar or glucose, they don't need that, but you do. I'm going to give you the chemical formula for glucose. Again, you don't have to write it, but if you want your notes to look sophisticated and maybe prepare yourself for a bonus question, I would. It's C6H12O6, that's glucose. I'm just giving you the chemical formula for this, just like water is H2O, carbon dioxide is CO2, glucose or the sugar that plants convert things to is C6H12O6. It's right on the board. So if we had to put this into an equation, if we had to show plants using what they have, adding it all together, and releasing what they don't need, how would we do that? What do plants start off with using? The sun, which we said the sun is their what? That's their energy. So to be energy, also known as the sun, and what? What else do they use? So what type of symbol do we use to show that we're adding it? What type of symbol do we use to show a plus sign? Plus, and then you can say H2O, that's very good because it is water. Or you can add the words water, but I prefer adding H2O because we put H2O up here, we know that's water. This is higher level thinking, showing that you understand what you wrote. What else are they using? Carbon dioxide. What is the chemical formula I just gave you for carbon dioxide? CO2. What do they release? Okay, what is the type of symbol we can show that this is releasing? This is not math, so we're not going to put equal, but we're going to show that they're releasing it. They're giving it off. 2 arrows going apart? Why 2 arrows? Why not just one? But that's what it is, though. 1 arrow. It's showing that they've used all this stuff, and now they're putting out. Nope, this is all we need is 1 arrow. What are they releasing? Oxygen, which we showed as what? O2. And what else are they releasing? Sugar, also known as glucose, which is the chemical formula. I've just taught you 8th grade chemistry. A little bit of it. I did not balance this equation, which means what's on the left is not totally equal to what's on the right. I didn't balance that because I don't want to confuse you, but I do want you to see, if you look on the left side of the equation, plants use energy from the sun, water, and carbon dioxide. When they use those things, they release oxygen and glucose. Yeah, I would, just to box that out, maybe even put a little star next to it. And we're almost done with our notes. All right, I'm going to extend my page just a little bit. There are 2 stages of photosynthesis. One stage is capturing sun's energy. Is that direct or indirect if they're capturing sun's energy? Direct. The other stage is using sun's energy to make food. We're going to start with stage 1. We're capturing sun's energy. What normally captures the sun's energy? Plants. So this process mostly occurs in leaves. From your previous notes, what part of the leaf in our discussion of the parts of cells, what part of the cell is responsible for this photosynthetic process? Remember, plant cells are the only cells that do photosynthesis because they make their food. So what organelle was it that only plant cells have to run through that process of making its own food that animal cells do not? Some of you need to be looking in your notes to look at those organelles. What is it? Chloroplast. Chloroplasts in plant cells chloroplasts in plant cells, what they do is they capture energy using chlorophyll and then that energy that they capture, it powers stage 2. Now, in the whole photosynthesis process, we said that plants need what? What's the one thing, the number one thing that powers it all? Sun. Stage 1, they're using sun. What else do they need? Water and carbon dioxide. So for stage 2, cells use water and carbon dioxide. Here, your carbon dioxide enters cells through a part of the cell called the stomata. That's within the cell. How does H2O get there? How does H2O get through the cells? Through the what? Through the who? Through the roots. And this was just in brain time. If I'm underlining it, it must be important, which means you should know it. Last information that we're going to write. Sorry, I was doing that. Is in the chloroplast, what did the plant start off with? We already talked about the sunlight. In this stage, what are they using? Water and carbon dioxide. So in the chloroplast, H2O and carbon dioxide changes and makes, what did we say it released as a waste? Sugar. What was the chemical formula for sugar? So, in the chloroplast, that water and that carbon dioxide that it captured changes, sorry, it is so sick, changes and makes sugar, C6H12O6, and what else does it make? Oxygen. What's the chemical formula for oxygen? O2. And this exits the leaves through stomata. That is a lot of notes, I would admit. However, it's a lot of information that's gathered, and we've discussed it, and your discussion and your answers shows me that you understand these notes. So now you're going to have an opportunity to really show what you know. I'm going to give you a moment to get the rest of this down. And this is spelled incorrectly. There should be an H there. So for your homework, you have a sheet that looks like this. Your directions are to cut out the leaf. Make sure you follow these directions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play a short video showing you exactly what you're to do. Do not start cutting now because you do not have time, but I'm just going to show you a short video showing you exactly what to do for your homework because the instructions are there. So I cut out the leaf. You'll notice something's wrong with that video, but I cut out the leaf, and what happens is here, this is your slit. You're going to cut along this slit. The way that you cut along that slit is if you bend the leaf and slit it. Then, if you look down further, you'll notice that there's this little piece here. This little piece here has an edge to it. This edge sticks within the leaf so that it looks like the leaf can flap open. And I'm going to show you it here. I will place the video on the video so that you will see it there as well. And I'm going to show you here. So you tape it here or glue it down on your notebook, and when you put the other leaf into the flap, that leaf opens up. And you'll notice on the back of that leaf, you have information. You have your stomata and you have your chloroplast. Only gluing down the left side. You're not gluing down the right side because all of those leaves will open up. Then you will use your arrows and you will place them where they shall go within your leaf. So for instance, sunlight going to the leaf, you will place the arrow saying sunlight into the leaf, pointing in the leaf. Then you will use your other arrows to place them where they should go. You should pay attention. It's already on there. It should be on there. So when you